Hello, my name is Oswald Salceda, and this presentation is on AI and adult education. Now, AI in adult education is not a theory per se, but it is grounded in educational theories such as andragogy, self-directed learning, and constructivist learning. Sharon Merriam references Knowles, and they speak about 5 assumptions that underlie andragogy. And I find that 2 of these assumptions are well served by AI in adult education. 1, the adults have an independent self-concept and they can direct their own learning. And 2, adults are motivated to learn by internal rather than external factors, which leads to the strengths of AI in adult education. So let's begin with the strengths, there are many of them, but I'll talk about 3 in particular. 1, personalized learning. 2, adaptive learning. And 3, immediate feedback. Personalized learning does a few things. It allows adults to learn at their own pace, gives them agency over what they learn, therefore giving them a choice and a voice to make learning more authentic to them, which aligns with self-directed learning. Building on the strengths of personalized learning, adaptive learning takes customization a step further by using real-time data to adjust content and difficulty, creating an even more responsive and individualized educational experience. So, there are different types of systems that cater to individualized learner needs. For example, Duolingo. Many of you guys heard about it before. It adapts to your level of language in order to facilitate language acquisition. And then there's ALEX, which is used for higher education math and some science courses. ALEX stands for Assessment and Learning in Knowledge Spaces. And there's Area 9, which is suitable for corporate and academic environments and focuses on competency-based learning. There's Khan Academy, which has been around for a long time and is less so in ALS, but does offer some personalized learning paths, so I thought I would mention that as well. Of course, there are many other types of ALSs or adaptive learning systems, but these are just a few that I wanted to mention that you may have some familiarity with. So, finally, I'll speak about immediate feedback, which once again plays to the strengths of adult learners by increasing learning efficiency, confidence, and motivation, as the adult learner needs to feel like their time is not being wasted. And it provides personalized learning support and increases agency. It's not all fun and games, right? So now I'm going to move on to some of the weaknesses of AI and adult learners. So, there's technical and implementational challenges. By that I mean it has potential for what people call sometimes AI hallucinations or inaccurate content generation. There is a need for careful prompt engineering to achieve desired results, which I will go into more detail with the application piece of this presentation. There's also a learning curve for educators and learners for effectively using AI tools, and limited research on impact on adult learning outcomes. Look, the technology has only been part of the mainstream since OpenAI opened up ChatGPT to the general public around November 2022. There are inherent biases in AI-generated content, overrepresentation of certain demographics, need for careful monitoring and correction of bias, and potential reinforcement of certain stereotypes. There are quality control concerns as well. There are requirements for human oversight and verification. There's potential for misleading or inaccurate information. privacy and safety considerations, what you upload to these websites can be used to train the chatbot's performance. And last but certainly not least, there is a need for ethical guidelines in implementation. What are you using the chatbots for? Let's move on to the idea of perspective. Who is using AI and for what capacity? There are many perspectives, but I'll focus on two ways of looking at AI, and that is through the lens of the adult educator. It can help you create lessons, differentiate your instruction, automate tasks. And the second perspective, the adult learner, can help you research. It can make your learning very personalized, and it can give you instant feedback. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the application piece. To begin with, we're going to ask ChatGPT about a topic that you are familiar with. I'll ask it to compare classical Roman and Greek forms of democracy, since I teach social studies. But your prompt should reflect the subject that you are familiar with. Look, if you make a mistake spelling, it'll still know what you're talking about. So here it is. What you want to do is you want to check it. Check for accuracy. As the educator, you should have the content knowledge, and you should be able to look at what it's giving you. All right. So here I see a few things: similarities, citizen participation, which is right. All right. Public assemblies, exclusionary practices. All right. Differences, types of democracies, government structures. So it's giving me good information right here. All right. Now, as an educator, the next prompt I would want to give it is something like, let's go with create a lesson plan based on these findings. Again, if you mess up, it'll still know what you're talking about. And there you go. This one's giving me a lesson plan for high school, but this is good because now, again, it's what you do whenever you prompt it. You want to be more specific with it. So I'm going to ask it, create LP for adult learners. And there it is. I didn't even have to tell it lesson plan, just I did LP, and it went ahead and did that for me. Okay, so you want to do this for yourself, and you want to make sure that you know what you're talking about. Okay. Again, play with it. Answer the questions. How accurate was ChatGPT? Can you refine your prompt to get more detailed results? And what were your thoughts? Now, moving on, I'm going to go ahead and go to Duolingo. A lot of you guys are familiar with it, all right? I already started the assessment, so I'm going to keep going. All right, I have some common words that I know. All right, so I'm going to keep moving with that. Continue. Find my level. This is the part that I wanted to show you guys. Find my level is going to tell you more or less where it's at, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and do that as well, all right? So let's just keep moving. In conclusion, does AI have a role to play in adult education? I would say it certainly does. It can be very helpful, and it does align with some theories of adult education, as previously stated. But it does come with some caveats. It is still in its infancy, and it isn't truly artificial intelligence. It is simply generated pre-trained information that is based on analysis of human-created content. for the most part. Thank you, and I hope this presentation has been useful.